in a 2-year IB course, if a student drops after the junior year, it would be similar to a student withdrawing from any full year course. So we really do encourage, colleges know this is a 2-year course. If a student is in IB Econ and they decide senior year, I just don't want to take that course anymore, I don't like it, whatever the case may be, there's not a withdraw on the transcript if they've completed the junior year, but it appears that way because the colleges know that is year 1 of the 2-year sequence. So we really encourage the kids, certainly if they're struggling, if they're having a really difficult time, we're going to work with any student first, trying to get them the help that they need, but certainly if it's just too much, they can certainly drop it. But we're pretty firm, we toe the line with kids that decide, well, I just don't want to take it anymore. I don't like it anymore. If you sign up and you make the commitment, we expect the students, unless there's a really good reason, to go through and finish that course.
I guess the part of that question here is though that, so you've got a 4-credit requirement for graduation in English, right? So if you start and you take that junior year and then for some reason you did drop, right, you still get credit.
You'd get a credit for completing it in that junior year, and then if you had to drop, you would just replace it with another 1-year junior or senior English course in the senior year.
Yes, so that's actually occurring right now. So right now, the departments are making recommendations, and very shortly, students will start meeting with either Ms. Anderson or Mrs. Iden or with me to go through registration and see where the recommendations are, what's the best for there. Overall. Well, HL courses are more difficult. Standard level courses, I don't know what you guys think. I mean, they're not outrageously harder.
Well, a lot of the IB sciences are 1 year, so the HL sciences are 2 years. So the first year will be full of science. So like I'm in the bio class and I'm taking HL with other student level. So I think it just goes HL goes the extra deeper. But then in like some class like English, like you're doing completely opposite.
But do you think you're, like comparing your SL and HL courses, you guys, do you see a difference?
I actually don't think I do. I think they're all like pretty hard, but none of them are unmanageable.
I think like the first science session was different, like that first year, but in math I know it's definitely different.
Well, we can't hear you back here. We can't hear.
It's really scary.
Speak up.
But Math SL is pre-calculus the first year, and then calculus is a senior. Pre-calculus, no matter what, is like one of the, it's a very hard math course. So yeah, but I don't think. Well, let me say this. Also, the assessments that the students see in the SL level will not require the depth or the amount of writing, perhaps, even the time or the number of assessments in an SL course compared to an HL course. So,
I was wondering if you could go back and respond to the gentleman's question about the GPA.
I'm happy to respond to that a little bit.
One
Yeah.
question on top of that, are HL courses weighted differently than the SL courses towards the GPA?
I can answer that all in one. So beginning next year, and Dan can certainly add to that, we are no longer weighting our courses. We have done a lot of research with what we would call our sister schools, other independent schools, as well as colleges and universities from the admissions side. And what happens when a student is applying to college, because every school weights their grades, if they weight grades, not all schools weight, some do, everyone uses a different weighting system. So some schools might weight an AP course 1.0, some might do 0.5. So the problem with college admissions is they're receiving a transcript from thousands of schools, and they have to try to level the playing field. So what colleges do is they are going to, if there's weighting, they're either going to strip the weight and just look at a college or a high school transcript unweighted, or they may strip the weighting and add their own weighting. So for example, I met someone today from Western New England University, and we were talking about that, and she said, oh, we can't deal with all the weighting from the different schools because everyone weights differently. So number one, what we look at is the rigor of the program. Is the student in honors courses? Is the student in AP courses? Is the student in IB courses? That's number one. Number two, the grades earned. Those are the two most important things. If there's weighting, we strip the weighting, and then we add. This is how we add weights. And she was giving me their scale. They add, 1.0 for AP or IB courses. And then they can look at all of the transcripts in a very objective way. So we want our students to choose courses that are appropriate for them and that they are going to be successful in. So it's our job to really help guide them toward that. We do believe that every student can participate in the IB program. Every student at Cheshire Academy can participate. Some students may not want to do the full IB because, and this is absolutely fine, because they have some very strong passion outside of the academic world that prohibits the time that they need to put into the academic program. So many students that I talk to that have, a really intense commitment after school may not choose the full IB program. But there is no reason why any student at Cheshire Academy cannot take IB English SL. History of the Americas. If you like history, it's a great course. It's a 2-year course. If you don't love history, maybe you opt for regular U.S. history, and then you take some of our other electives. But every student at Cheshire Academy can take at least some IB courses. Sciences, I think the students would say, tend to be, particularly the bio and chem, higher level especially, very challenging. If you love bio and chem, that's definitely where you may want to go, but those are pretty tough. If you look at languages, your standard level, all that really is year 3. So Spanish 3 is standard level. Spanish 4, higher level. So it's not even necessarily just degree of difficulty, it's year of study. So we are very confident that all students can participate in some way, and being that this is, what we believe in, good teaching, making connections, interdisciplinary, getting kids to read, write, think critically. We base all of our curriculum on that, even our non-IB courses, and we're really starting in grades 9 and 10 to prepare kids using the language of the IB. Laura's done an outstanding job as our coordinator and working with our faculty. All of our faculty are in the process of being trained, whether or not they teach IB or not, so that everybody, especially starting in the younger grades, so the kids are very well prepared.
So a B is a B regardless of
A B is a B is a B is a B is a B.
or an HL.
Will their current GPA be impacted in any way?
So the way the final we wouldn't want a current student, we wouldn't want there to be a decrease in the GPA. We wouldn't want a GPA of 4.29 in 9th grade and then a GPA of 4.0. We wouldn't want a college to look at that. So as we've been advised by colleges, they would prefer, it would be in a student's best interest to have, if it's a current student, on their final transcript, a fully non-weighted, and then we have on the transcript, it will say the year that we went away from grade weighting. And this is something, just so you know, that we have spent we've discussed this, we've done a lot of research, and further communication. It was supposed to come out on Tuesday, but some other things were going on, so it didn't. But it will be. Stacy, did I answer that?
Can you speak a little bit more about the PAS program?
to engage in service projects so that those count towards that requirement. The students with CAS are asked to reflect, set goals and reflect on their creative activities, their action service activities, and their service activities. And most of the things that our students do cross over. You know, it might be, I don't know, helping to, like the Valentine's dance, helping to organize the Valentine's dance, making announcements, making posters, helping to set up. Those are the types of things. That's action and service for others, being creative, making posters. Small like that too, working in a soup kitchen, working at Gaylord, volunteering.
So last year we had a student who did an art project over the summer, which is that like counted for creativity, action, service, and they had, I think, sort of like someone who was like a family member or something sign off on them. So that way they continue sort of this process of like of being creative and continuing their engagement with the program, but it also doesn't have to be sort of like always service. And during school you have so many opportunities to do it. Like I know sports counted, and then there was always volunteer opportunities. So that it wasn't a big problem.
The one thing I'll add too is the 3 core courses of TOK, Theory of Knowledge, CAS, and Extended Essay. The colleges really like to see those as well, especially the Extended Essay and TOK, because of the amount of work that's involved in those courses. I can't read things.
8.
Oh,
8 periods.
8 periods a day. Good. Thank you, Ms. Anderson. So our IB students typically complain about the lack of time in their day. Full IB students. So next year we're moving to an 8-block schedule, which will give the students a little bit more flexibility within the school day. We don't have the exact time set yet. We're working on that. But the TOK and Extended Essay piece are really important to the colleges. The colleges really love the Extended Essay. They know that the students are writing. It doesn't matter if you're going to major in math or biology or English or African American studies. You're going to write a lot in college. And to have that Extended Essay piece, the amount of writing that's in TOK, it looks great to the colleges. TOK, CAS, and Extended Essay all appear on the students' transcripts as well.
The extended essay for the parents, you know, I say to the students, it's only a 10 to 12 page paper, but once you've done it in college, and I bet you did it, you maybe get 2 or 3 weeks for that 10 to 12 page paper in college, and hopefully now you've done it, they get about a year or something. After writing that extended essay, all my papers are pretty much a breeze. It's like, whew, and they come out pretty good. They sweat over it. One of the handouts, I'll put it up here, it can be small ones. One of the handouts does show, it's very small, the sequence of courses as students move from 9th to 10th to 11th grade. So there are certain IB courses that have prerequisites. So for example, in the second language world, for French or Mandarin or Spanish, SL, as Ms. Anderson mentioned, that's like level 3. So students will have to have level 1 and 2. And then HL is like level 4. Math has some prerequisites. Science does.
What I can tell you all from the college side, students are interested in engineering as an example, or math or science. The colleges don't necessarily care which IB courses you take. What they are more interested in is that you are a diploma candidate student, that you are doing the full program. So that's what's, especially at the highly selective institutions. So when you're looking at some of the higher end schools in terms of admissibility, or low admissibility rates, depending on how you want to look at it, but those schools, they're not necessarily interested in the individual courses, but the full DP or not. And so that's important to keep in mind. I'm a firm believer, Ms. Longacre knows that, I'm a firm believer that every student at Cheshire Academy should at least start their junior year in the full IB program. there's whole school districts in this country that do IB. I know we have some students here that might not quite fit the bill in terms of they're new to our country, et cetera. But for the most part, I think every student at Cheshire Academy can do full IB, would be here if you could.
Do our current students have any totals of this one? They're fine. The full IB, this year was 27 juniors are full IB out of, how hard is it?
Current junior class? Current juniors, 118.
So 27 are full, and then almost every single junior is taking at least, actually two if not more. But the additional courses that we've added for next year open up the possibilities for students to fill that the full IB array with some additional arts and HL and music. We have a lot of musicians. Adding computer science might be a really interesting piece as your group 6, or the econ, kids will like that. So Diploma is taking all your courses for junior and senior year. They're all IB courses. Certificates are courses in an individual IB course. So let's say 11th and 12th grade, you take an IB English course and an IB math course, and you fulfill those assessments and earn certificates. Yes.
Good question.
And I will post the handouts as well on the parents' resource page. Any other questions about assessments the students do? Oh, when's the deadline to decide? Well, by the end of the school year, ultimately, for next year.
No, if a community takes SL for 1 year, the next year, if it's just 1 year, they have to take it over.
Well, depends on the course. Some of the SL courses we do run in 1 year. So Bio SL, Chem SL, Environmental Systems and Society. But all the other SLs are two. Oh, right. No, you don't. But you have an opening there. If there is something, if you feel like that would fit, you want to take, another elective or semester course. Yep, because you still have your 6 courses and your course requirements. Yeah.
Can you just explain assessments a little bit more?
Okay, so what's can be very different and new for our students, for our students and families, if you're familiar with, in the AP world, it's one test, you take a course, and you sit for one test in May, and that's it, you get a grade out of 1 to 5. In the IB world, so there's the math, let's say, math SL. There are what we call internal assessment and external assessment. All these terms, IA. So currently, our math SL students, actually all of our math students, are finishing what's called a portfolio project paper. It's a paper in math. Whoa. They have to write a paper. They have a problem, and they're solving a problem, but they are writing a paper, which is new. And that paper is graded by the math teacher here, and then it's sent, this year digitally, I'm sending them around the world to other IB teachers who will check the grading. We call that moderated. So it's a nice check and balance system for teachers because I've now marked the work of my students. I enter those marks. I have a rubric. Goes to another teacher around the world, that teacher either agrees with those marks or says, oh, no, you were too low, you were too high, and they adjust it. And we as teachers get feedback about it. So the system is wonderful also for faculty because then we kind of know, are we, that we're not inflating our grades, I guess, really. So in math, for example, the students are finishing an internal assessment. That's one aspect of the final IB grade for math. And then the students will sit for two papers in May. Papers in the IB world is an exam. 2 exams in May. And so then they'll have 3 assessments that make up of their final IB mark on 1 through 7. And they each have a certain rate. And another interesting point about the IB exams in May, they tend to be a shorter amount of time, like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours each exam. And there's really quite a bit of time for the students. This is very, very different, especially for our North American kids who are so used to these very fast kind of drill and kill tests. You know, can you get through it and how fast? In the IB world, hour and a half to write 1 paper, to write a composition, let's say. And so that student has time to think, plan, make an outline, make notes, and then write. It's really wonderful. I mean, they're nervous about it, but after the fact, they say, oh, I had time. I didn't have to rush. It's great. We're testing them, we're assessing them the way they should be. Not just trying to assess how much you can regurgitate or how fast you can learn, but how do you think? Show us what you know, not what you don't know. So their creativity is very much honored in the IB world as well, in the various assessments, application, teaching.
That's a good question. Des's question is the predicted scores are not, they'll match reality. So if a teacher says, predicts a 7, and you end up with a 4, what's that going to mean? The predicted scores typically are, we want to be cautious with them, the teachers when they're giving them. Typically, if you're within a deviation of 3 points, plus or minus, it's going to be okay. If your deviation is 4 or 5, you're getting away. If the overall predicted score, say, is a 32, and you end up with a 24 and just make the diploma, it's probably not going to work for you if they thought you were going to have 32. But if they say 32 and you get 31, or you get 36, then it's even better. But if the deviation generally is about 3 points, it should be okay on the predicted score. Some schools are a little tighter, you know, and if they say you go down a point, then it doesn't work for you. But those are things that we'll handle case by case, school by school. When we're talking, really with the number of schools that our students apply to, tend to be a little bit smaller number than we're looking at predicted scores.
The predicted scores reflect back to teachers,
Right.
more
Well,
to you guys, because I want to see that the predicted scores I've made for my students match up. Because if they don't, what does that say? That I'm like totally not assessing and teaching and doing what I need to do. Does that make sense? So it's a really good check and balance program for us as a school. That's a good prediction.
How does that work when you have early action or early decision?
If you're applying early action or early decision, I can use predicted scores. I mean, you're going to be applying it. So our students get 2 diplomas if they're an IB diploma candidate. They're going to get a Chester Academy diploma and an IB. Ideally, they're going to get the IB diploma. So they're going to be applying essentially as a regular American high school student. Because we are giving our students, no, we're not giving our students anything. They're earning grades in their courses. And so they're going to have grades on their transcripts. It's not like we're just waiting till the end and putting 1 through 7 on their transcripts. So they're still going to have grades and transcripts just like any other student. So they would apply as an early action, early decision student for November 1st, if that's what they want to do.
there a list somewhere where colleges and universities that automatically accept the IB program?
The IB websites have great resources of colleges and universities that accept and base admission off of IB scores. Every UK school. Every UK school does. You can apply as an American student with an American transcript as well. You don't have to go the IB route, even as an IB student. And we have students who go both, who apply one way or the other, depending on the school. But all UK schools do that. Almost all European schools will take. And then in the US, it's a lot fewer, but there are schools out there. And the IB site is great resources.
Right, and it's school by school. If you go to a college website and just put in IB, you'll see, they'll explain every school is different in how they do that.
When you do IB, there's going to be a lot of work, and you're going to have to do a lot of homework, and it's going to seem tough, but the classes I'm taking, I'm challenged, but I'm not dying. You're going to hear all of us exaggerating about it, and you're going to hear all of us moan and groan and say that we wish that we had done literally anything else but this. But that is just heat of the moment.
I'm pretty sure this other one would say that about something else.
Yeah,
This just might be a
it
little
has
exaggerated.
it has its moments, but it's not impossible. And the classes you're taking, it's not going to be like everything you've taken before. It's going to be a lot of stuff. You're going to use stuff you have learned at the beginning of the year. You're going to make connections with all of your subjects, and it's not impossible. So don't think it's impossible. And you're like,
And the way to add on to that is don't get frustrated when you walk into an IB class the first day and go, this is really hard, I've never seen this before. Because you're going to get used to it. Your teachers are going to help you really get used to it. I think all of us here can agree that we've gotten used to it. And it's not as bad as it first seems.
And the juniors, like these are juniors right now in the winter, beginning second semester. There are moments, and time management can be difficult. So if that's an issue you have, you need to sort of know about that going into it. The theory of knowledge class, TOK class, can be very weird for students initially because we're asking these young folks to think kind of out of the box. There's no right or wrong answer. It's not black or white anymore. There's lots of gray. And Mr. Boyd might say, prove to me why you say whatever you said. So that's new. That's a big jump, and it's developmental. They are, for the parents, they're still teenagers. There's a lot of growth here, and they're developing their brains and their thinking skills. Then I think by senior year, it's better. Yeah, you sort of see the light at the end of the tunnel, and when you're done, you say, oh yeah, there are growing phases. It's not a program that's designed to be impossible. It's high school appropriate. It is challenging. The high level courses are challenging. You've got to think differently and deeply, but it's not meant to be an impossible task.
If you start out in an HL and realize that it's just a little over your head, how easy is it to slide it yourself? Like you're in,
It kind of depends on the subject area. In the history world, history, science is a little bit easier. English, language you wouldn't be in one and go down because it's really different level. And same with math, it's almost feels like algebra 2 as compared to 3 times. It's a little different. So some are easily switched to some. Some of the students, if you look at the grid, you may already see how you fit into your next level wherever you are in the IB courses. Anything else? We can stay and take other questions, but we're welcome to go. Thank you.
Thank you.